Hello and welcome to the Straw Bite Workshop. In the workshop today, a short update as it's the beginning of 2020 and I want to look back at what I achieved last year and what my plans are for the channel in the coming months. That's all coming up. Okay, so over the course of the next year, I'm going to give you a update video once in a while, charting the progress of the channel and try to give you a little bit of a glimpse behind the scenes in the workshop, and also to try and give you a little bit of a taster as to what's coming up in the near future. It's January 2020, so naturally I'm going to begin by looking back at last year. Now last year I put out 22 videos plus 2 videos that were Patreon exclusives on my Patreon page. I'm really pleased with what I actually managed to get done last year, bearing in mind that as far as the workshop is concerned, the big project undertaken in the summer, which resulted in 4 videos, was the renovation of this space and getting the installation in. It's now January, I've had the heating on for under 5 minutes and it's really very toasty in here. As far as the performance of my videos are concerned, I still tend to do very well off of videos that I actually filmed in 2018. Review videos of WorkZone and Makita products have fared very well, although there are a number of videos, and I've picked 5 out that you can see in the description below, that I think are sort of personal favourites. It includes the workbench that I'm currently leaning on, the installation of the walls, which was very well received, the review of my new table saw, which was a good video. It's one of my favourites. It hasn't performed all that well, but nevertheless it marks a sort of increase, or an attempt to increase the quality of my videos somewhat. And you know, generally speaking, I think there were a lot of things that I had in mind that I executed on, and there were lots of things that were ideas that kind of got left on the shelf and didn't make it into a video. And that includes, I might add, the series on the Inventables CNC, which is now up and running and fully working. I've been using it for a good few months and will be picking the story up on the CNC in the very near future. In fact, that's maybe what I'm filming today. So what can you look forward to in the coming months? One of the issues that I've faced with running the CNC is the fact that it turns the workshop into Hose City. It's forced me to think a lot more about dust collection in the workshop. As my miter saw is basically where I want it to be, and I'm getting a sense now of where all the other tools are going to live going forward. I'm going to be doing a series of videos on my dust collection system, which is going to be based around 68mm drain pipe. It's a size of pipe used successfully by others, most notably Rag & Bone Brown. I'll leave a link to his video below as well. And as I have a 3D printer, there's going to be a little bit of a twist as regards that build. The video series will include the build of a cyclone separator. I'll also talk through some of the deliberations that I've had with regards to choosing a good vacuum extractor for the workshop. I have a Nilfisk Aero 26, which is an absolutely fantastic piece of kit, and I probably ought to do a review video on that before too long. But it's not designed for the motor to be running continuously, and it's kind of what I need if I'm running the CNC for prolonged periods of time. What else? You know, the cabinets. The problem I've had with the workshop cabinets is the fact that I really want to get outside, and it's rained constantly for 2 months. And so the base cabinets for the miter saw stand that you saw me build last year have yet to be done, and in fact what I want to do is to use the cabinet series as a way of giving some basic guidance to anybody looking to build a simple European style frameless cabinet, whether it be for the workshop, as in this case, or for the house, kitchen, laundry room, or just storage for the kids' bedroom or something along those lines. So there'll be a short instructional video on cabinets coming up. As far as the workshop itself is concerned, lots of small jobs have been done around the workshop, including the installation of some cable trays, some more lights, sound panels which have made a big difference to the sound quality in the workshop, and putting some trim in the eaves which was left over from the summer. I left off in particular the concrete block piers, and that was mostly because I wanted to decide what to do with them. They are a strong, safe space to hang heavy items from, and I've been looking for projects that I think are going to work in that space. The first will be a clamp rack. I've got some relatively new clamps from Rutland's, which I particularly like, some parallel clamps. I've got 12 or 13 heavy clamps, and really a clamp wall project is going to be one of the first uses of a brick pier. And then over the coming months I'll get round and do the other 3, and then we'll have completed pretty much most of the workshop. The other project will be to put the personnel door into the workshop. At the moment I'm just using the up and over garage door. Once that's in, I can finish the installation in that corner and then move on to reorganising the workshop around the fact that I can get in through a smaller door. So the first project you're going to hopefully see from me will be a CNC project. I made some gifts for people on the CNC this Christmas that were incredibly well received, and I have some of the designs that I made up on Etsy for sale, and they seem to be doing reasonably well. We'll probably be then going back a step and looking at setting up and tuning the CNC. It might seem like cheating at woodwork to you, but I can tell you the learning curve for me has been pretty steep, and now I wouldn't be without it. Simple as that. I've even cut some fancy joinery with the CNC that would be almost impossible to do by hand accurately. So again, I may feature that in an upcoming video. I'd like to give a big thank you to my Patreons. They are small in number, but their contribution is enormously helpful. There is of course room for more, so I encourage you to follow the link below, check out my Patreon page, consider signing up. But for now, from the workshop, cheerio.
Dust cyclone. Starting with the extractors themselves.